Good morning, everyone. A very good morning. Shall we begin the session? Today is the assemblies. Today's topic is assembly, that is creating or either using the console application that automates the world. The assemblies may be a simple console application, or that may be a table specified in the wiki text format that is used to create console application, that is used, we can say, that is used to maintain a console application. And this wiki is a kind of format, kind of scenario that is used. So whatever the data we have, whatever the files we have, that is available in the wiki text format, and it is a kind of online encyclopedia that users can contribute to. For an example, see this URL for a wiki that documents the office primary intro of assemblies, and this uses the simple, easy to text file or easy to edit files that any visitor to the wiki can edit without having to know HTML. So without knowing HTML, without going to HTML, so it is very easy to edit the text files that any visitors know. And these text files have a simple representation of even complex elements such as the tables. And our console application will read a simple text file that specifies a table in the wiki text format. So whatever text file, whatever the data we have, that is used with a single or simple text file that specifies a table in the wiki, and that will automate the word to create a word table that matches the text file creation. So whatever the text file that we have, whatever the data we have, that is used to create the text file that is automatically available with the scenario that is used with this, that is used, we can say, to whatever the text file we have, whatever the easy to text edit file we have. So these are the file that we can edit without knowing the HTML. And these text files have a simple representation of even complex elements such as a table, and our console application will read a simple text file that specifies a table in the wiki text format that will then automate the word to create a word table that matches the text file specification. So whatever the file specification, whatever the text file specification that they have, that will automate the word to create a table, create a word table that matches, that used with the text file specification. And in this format, we are using the table that looks like table 121 that is specified by the text. So we have to move on to the assemblies, we have to move on to the properties, methods of the word adding objects. This is the property of the method, the name, then return type. And the property says application, return type says application. Property says auto load, return type says auto load. Compile, boolean, property creator in 32, method delete void. So whatever the method, whatever the properties we have that is used with the automation, that is used with the application that automatically loads the value, that automatically compiles the value, that is used with the creator, that is used with the method. The next is the install, next is the name, next is the parent, next is the path. So these are the four parts that is available with this. Install, name, parent, and the path. And this is the wiki representation, text representation of the table 2.1 that represents how to use with the property of the method, how to use with the name, return type, property, application, then auto load boolean, compile boolean, creator in 32, method delete void, property index in 32. So these are the various parts that will be available, that is used as an attachment, that is used as a file, that is used to create a compiled application. That may be a delete, that may be a void, that may be a method, that may be a index. Yeah. Anything that is what. And there is also a property and the parent, property and the path and the string. So these are the various text representation that is using up, that is returning the value, that automatically loads the value, compiles the value, and generates the value. The next is the property install boolean, property name string, property parent object, property path strings. These are the compiled applications that is used with the boolean, that is used with the part of the compile. Then method delete void, property index in 32, property installed boolean, name string, parents object, path string. So we will use the Visual Studio 2005 to create a console application, and after launching the Visual Studio, choose a new project from the file menu also. And this dialog box also shows a variety of the project type. Whatever the project types we have, whatever the data we have to make that sense. We have to choose the Visual C# node from the list of the project types, and also choose the Windows node under the Visual C# node. And that is slightly counterconstructive because there is an Office node available too, but the Office node only shows the VSTO code. Whatever the VSTO code we have, whatever the data we have, that is used with behind the code, and the VSTO also Outlook and add in project. Now, whenever you choose the Windows node or more, we will see the windows to the right of available templates. You have to choose the console application template, name your application, click on the OK button to create a project. In this case, we have created a console application known as a wiki or the word wiki. And note that the new project dialog have a different appearance than the one that depends on the profile we are using. So in this, we are using or assuming the Visual C# development setting profile that is used to choose import and export settings from the tools menu. So whatever the data, whatever the tools we are using up, that is stored in the new project. So this is the Visual Studio installed elements or the templates, and there are two parts. One is a console application, one is a console the class library that provides a window service, that provides a window, that provides a template. So these are used with the console application, these are used with the class library function that is available, that is used with this, and Windows does not create a library because it has a Windows service, it has a console application, it has an empty project that will be going on. So there are basically 7 elements of template that we are using: a Windows application, class library, Windows control library, web control library, console application, Windows services, and the empty project. There are total 7 projects in this, and these are used with the installed already. And the name is also same, that is a word wiki. Then location is C drive Visual Studio projects, whatever the project we are using. The solution is create a new solution, and we can browse the content, we can browse the locations. Creating a console application from the new project dialog. And when you click on the OK button, Visual Studio creates a console application project for you. So whatever the studio that we have, whatever the data we have, that displays the content of the project in the Solution Explorer window, that is available in the Word Wiki, that is available with the properties assembly info.cs. So this Word Wiki project is used in the Solution Explorer. So by default, a newly created console application project of references to assembly system data and system.xml. So we also need to add a reference to the Word 2003 PIA, and we do this by right clicking the reference folder and also choosing the add reference from the pop-up menu that appears. So whatever the pop-up menu, whatever the data we have covered, so that is used with the Chrome tab, that is used with the Word 11.0 object library, to add a reference to the Word 2003 PIE and then click on the OK button. So these all are, we can see the reference that is used with the Word 2003 PIE. And this Visual Studio also adds a reference to the Word 2003 PIE and adds the references to the standalone VBID and the Microsoft.core or Office.core PIE. So that is used with the this is language as shown, and these additional PIEs are the one that the Word PIE depends on. And standalone is a PIE that contains the definition of some of the types that COM object model needs. So whatever the object model that contains whatever the data we have, so that definition includes with the COM object model that we have. So VBDIA or VBIDE is the PIE for the project, whatever the project model we have that is associated with the VB editor integrated into the Office. And this Office.dll is a PIE for the common functionality shared by all the applications or all the Office applications, such as the object model for the toolbars and the menu. And now that the proper references have been added to the console application, so let's get together with the console application. Let's start writing the program. By double clicking on the program.cs we have used, and if you have outlining turned on, you will be see using the pictures at the top of the program window, that is represented with the plus sign next to it. And when we click on the plus sign, it expands the value, it creates the value. So it will be expanded out with the code where the using directives are placed. So these directives are also using with the directive that can take a more usually use objects from the word PIA and the Microsoft.Office.core PIA, as well as the classes in the system.input-output namespace. So whatever the data we have, whatever the objects we have, that can be easily moved from the word PIA and the Microsoft.Office.core.PIA. So using Office equals to Microsoft.Office.core, using Word, Microsoft.Office.introp.word, using system.input-output. So there are three parts: Office, Word, and the system.input-output. Solution Explorer, Solution Word Wiki, and when you add the Word 2003 PIA, the dependent PIA are automatically added to the project. These are added to the project either way as assembly info.cs. And we alias some of the namespaces, so we do not have to type out the entire namespace, such as a Microsoft.Office.introp.word. We are not going to type the entire name, but every time, but we declare the word object, and with the alias in place, you can just type the word to specify the namespaces. So we keep an alias namespace in a place for the word and the office instead of just typing using Microsoft.Office.introp.word. And also importing all the types into a global scope. So whatever the data we have, whatever the type we have, so that is used into a global scope. And this also potentially colliding with the types we define in our code and with other reference types. And also for the purpose of this book, the code is also clearer when it says word.application rather than the application. So you know what namespace we are using or what we are using that is coming from. Now we are going to ready with some code that automates the word to create a table after each and every concept after reading a text input file in the wiki table format. And this will show, or this listing shows the entire listing of our program. Rather than explaining every line of code in that listing, we focus on the line of code that automates the word. So we assume the reader has some knowledge of how to read a file in the .NET. We also pass a string via the script method. So we briefly touch on some objects in the word object model that is used with the programming with the word, working with the word objects, that effectively covers the word object model in much more detail. That is used by adding the line of the code to the main method of the program class. Word.application, the application, new word.application function. Now, although the word application is an interface, so we are allowed to create a new instance of this interface because the compiler knows the word.application file that is associated with that code. Let's begin with the session again. So we are using the main function, we are using a new instance of the question object, or the word will keep the question object that will be taken out with the line of the code to the main object, main method of our program class. Although word.application is an interface, so we are allowed to create a new instance of this interface because the compiler knows that the word.application interface is associated with a COM object that it knows how to start. And when the word starts in response to an automation executable, it creates a new instance of its application objects. So whenever it starts off without showing any windows, you can automate the word in this visible or invisible states wherein you want to automate the word. So whenever you want to automate the word that is used by confusing without confusing the user by bringing up the word window. So whatever the word window we have, whatever the data we have that is used with the confusing the word window. And for this example, we want to make a word show its main window, and we do so by adding this line of code. Whatever the line of code we are using, so the application.visible equals to true. This application.visible that is taken out as just true. Now we want to create a new empty Word document into which we will generate our table, and we do this by calling the add method on the document collection returned by the Word application object. So whatever the data we have, whatever the parameter we have, we are taking out the fourth parameter that we want to omit. And these parameters in the Word method are specified by omitting or as omitted by passing a reference a variable containing the special type, that is a type.missing. And we also declare a variable known as the missing that we set to the type.missing and pass to the reference as a parameter that we want to omit. So for example, object missing equals to type.missing, word.document, the application.document.add. There are four parameters in this: reference missing, and the reference missing. And when this document is created, we want to read the input text file that is specified by the command line arguments. Whatever the command line argument that we have that is passed to our console application. So we want to pass that text file to calculate the number of columns and the rows. And when we know the number of columns and the rows, we use the following line of code to get a range object from the document object. And by passing our missing variable to the optional parameters, the range method will also return a range. It also return a method that includes the entire text of the document. So whatever the parameters we have, whatever the optional parameter we have, that is used or that is passed by using the missing variable to the optional parameter. So this range method will return a range that includes the entire text of the document. This range, the document.range, there are two parts on this, reference missing and the reference missing. With the use range object also to make the or add a table by calling the add method of the table's return method, table collection method by the range object. So we pass the range object again as a form of parameter as the first parameter to the add object to specify that we want to replace the entire content of the document with the table. So whatever the document we have, whatever the data we have to replace the entire document of the table, entire content of the table with the table. And we also specify the number of the columns and the rows that we are giving up. For example, if we are giving up with the table number of rows, this is given up with the range.tables.add, range, row count, column count, reference missing and the reference missing. And the table object has a cell method that takes a row and the column and also returns a cell object. This has a range property that returns the range object for the cell in question that we can use to set the text and formatting of the cell. So whatever the code that we sets up the cells of the table, that shows most of the object-oriented models that indices are the one based, meaning that this starts with one as a minimum value rather than the zero based. Starting with the zero as the minimum value. So this is the looping. So column index 1, column index is less than or equals to count, column index plus plus. Word dot cell, table dot cell, row index, column index, cell dot range dot text, split row, column index. So these are the few parts that is used with the cell, that is used with the cell dot range dot text, that is used with the split row, column index. And this code is used to set the formatting of the table by setting the table to size to fit content and also bolding the header row that is shown over here. So the table.rows1 table.bold equals to true. So range object also have a true value, also have a value that is a model expects an integer value. It is 0 for the false and the 1 for the true rather than a bool value. And this bold property also does not return a bool because the range of the text could be all bold and all not bold or partially bold. So Word also uses the enumerated constant wd constant or wd undefined to specify the partially bold case. Whatever the bold case we have, whatever the data we have that is used with the range of the object, that is used with the range of the content. This is a format table that is used how to use with the table.rows1 .range.bold table out-of-fit behavior with the out-of-fit content, and some code is also used at the end of the program that forces the word to quit without saving the changes. So without saving any changes, we are going to quit the word object and save changes equals to false. That is also used with the